Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, March 21st, and this is the AgYield War Room. I'm Dan Dempsey, and I'll be moderating today's session. As always, if you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to drop us a line in the chat area, and we'll be sure to get to those during the show. Quickly here, overnight markets had May corn up 3.5 at 442.5. May soybeans were up 4.5 at 1214, and May Chicago wheat was up 4 3/4 at 549 3/4. This morning, the USDA was out with export sales. Another solid week for corn, just short of 1.2 million, came back at 1.185. The estimates were looking anywhere between 800 and 1.4. So once again, another solid week in the corn complex. Soybeans, kind of middle range, 494,000. In the wheat complex, net cancellations in the 23 crop of 109,600. 24 sales were 285,900. So looks like they're moving into the newer crop there. And meal sales, once again, middle of the range, 243,400. We do have a lot to talk about here this morning. Heavy volume on the open last night. I know there's stories circulating that you've got some unfavorable rains, weird to say, but unfavorable rains through parts of Argentina. Some instances of them seeing, 4 to 5 inches above normal for what they've gotten this time of year. Yeah. So you got that coupled with, a sharp rally in gold, Bitcoin, a lot of those outside market stocks at new highs. So some excitement stuff here, guys. Throw it to Ben, start us off this morning, get us rolling, and we'll take it from there.
Good morning. I looking at yesterday, the Fed, I think that had a fairly good input into the grains short term. The dollar crashed pretty hard late, coupled with some nice strong closes in soybeans and corn, led to an aggressive bid overnight, but it was met with selling. Corn did get over the 50-day moving average in May. It went out at the break, sitting right there. We went up and we tested a series of old lows, the 47, 48 area. You can look at charts in every different way you want and every different methodology, but there is some resistance up there. If you're looking at a developing channel that's heading up, it looks like it could stretch to 460, but I think that's, you got to be careful. We cautioned a few weeks ago that, we felt that there would be a bounce, and you don't want to get bullish on that bounce. Even though it's early in the season, we're above crop insurance pricing for both corn and beans. And we're at just about a 10% rally, just about a 50% retracement of the whole bean move. I think the question is here, do the funds continue to try to cover shorts? So, we do feel like that imbalance between the grower long and the managed money short has been flattened. But mentioned on here numerous times that typical bear markets come in at about 10% of price. And, we're right in that wheelhouse for both corn and soybeans. So I think you have to look at this go back to margins, not price, see where you're sitting, and maybe take a little bit of a bite of something, especially around if you haven't done anything yet. So that's kind of my thoughts of where we're at.
Yeah, I'd add to that, Ben. The same kind of thing. We talked about this when we were making the lows, to your point that we should at least see a 10 to 15% rally, and you're kind of getting to those numbers. So huge volume overnight. We haven't seen that in a long time, like Dan said, right? So you're getting to that balance where there's farmers selling to take, change of ownership from the funds to the farmer. It's that time of year. So this is the first kind of weather scare, kind of reason for a fund to cover. It's kind of getting, the outside markets were ripping with gold and silver, and right. So if you're a massive short, you take probably one of your units off your, as just risk management, and then see if something else happens. Is that the March, report next week? The opposite could be said, that, they've covered into something and then we have a bearish report, and that was your chance to get something sold for the next month or so. So I agree. You have to, if you have got nothing sold, you probably should be looking at something here at a minimum.
I thought you made a great point too early this morning, Justin, that going into the March report, that we're fairly confident that one of the complexes is going to have a bearish result.
Well, you're right. I mean, hopefully we're surprised and total acres are down, but
Sure.
Doubt it. So corn and beans are both on a really good rally. So there's a chance that one of them isn't too happy next week with how things go. And obviously Argentina, everybody's buying meal. That's kind of the first thing you buy when you think there's an Argentina issue and it's rain during harvest. Not as exciting as a 50-year drought where they cut half the production. So I no doubt there'll be losses and there's some of those, but just seems like those kind of wet harvests never have the same issues that you think they're going to have. Kind of like here with wheat, you always got to play it up and a freeze or something, but it never ends up being as much damage as you think. So this could be just the first opportunity. Maybe it's one of several that come our way, and we get fortunate enough to have a meaningful rally into the spring summer. But it is the first chance that you might have to get some caught up sales at least.
Yeah, and better than $12 new crop beans futures basis. Is that doing the job to pick up some acres here, even ahead of
I don't know. The ratio hasn't changed much. It's still been high to beans, so they've both rallied. The ratio hasn't changed enough really to, I don't think, switch either. I think it goes back to what we talked about, just capital that you have, all those things we've been chirping about for a couple weeks now. But if you look at the balance sheets where that could be, if the acres are falling in line with expectations, $12 and $5 is probably going to look pretty high price next fall. Now, do we hit 13 in the middle? Do we hit 550 in the middle? Who knows? But if we have a normal type year, those are going to look like good sales. So you should at least have some game plan there. At least the gap. I always look at it too, like the gap. We all just pick crop insurance. So the gap of where the market is now and where your effective floor is, your coverage on crop insurance. Find some strategy around that gap, probably at least.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Ryland, we got some time here. I know I wanted you to revisit, cattle on feed estimates. I know that report's going to be out tomorrow, 2:00 Central Time. Certainly, placements seems to be the highlight from things I'm looking at. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, right now, that's really going to affect next week's trade for the most part. I think just in general, the cattle on feed report, this is going to be kind of the highest number, or at least above a year ago number that we've seen since last October. So I think that's just kind of making everybody sit on the cautious side of the market. We can kind of see that we've kind of flatlined a little bit in terms of price range just over the past few weeks here. So really going to kind of focus on that. And also we'll be getting an idea of weights today, just with the actual slaughter. So likely still pretty high, still going to stay on the high side of things. Just seems that the weather's really been conducive. So, I mean, there's a lot of reasons for the market to go down. It just hasn't really seen a really big break right now. It seems like we're just kind of flatlining. So it's making everybody a little nervous that we're not making these big directional kind of movements right now. So there's still a big prospect for potential upside here. There's no question about it. I mean, we are still historically tight. Packers are still paying higher prices. That was the one kind of disappointing factor I think we saw yesterday, was there was a little bit of cash trade at 186 in Kansas. I mean, it's way too few to really say that that's where the bulk is going to wind up or the average is going to wind up. But that is kind of lower, a little bit easier. So maybe it was just kind of an opportunity for Packers to pick something up cheap. But otherwise, I think the market's still predicting a bit of a steady kind of trade here. But, we have seen beef prices kind of pop back up. We're still trading 313. That idea is that that's still going to stay pretty strong into the summer months. So I think that's really going to be the focus. On the export side of the market, weekly exports for beef were only 11,000. It's a marketing year low. So we know we're kind of at that point in price where we're not drumming up much business. We probably need to see a much bigger break in the dollar or just an outright break to really spur a nice big round of exports here. But that's really not helping the cause much, as it were, right now. So I think that's really going to be the focus next week. Placements, marketings, and on-feed inventory. We're looking at on feed at 101, placements at 106, and marketing's 104, but that's really going to affect Monday's trade. So we'll see what the numbers say. But right now, I think everybody's kind of the mind that the imports of cattle that we're seeing coming in are likely going to be pretty high and stay pretty high, as the price level stays where it is.
Oh, very good. Appreciate the input. As always, if anybody's got any questions, whether it be grain market related, cattle related, please don't hesitate to reach out. Love to visit with you, look at your individual operation, and see what there is there to help you with. Guys, nothing else on my side here this morning. We'll take her into the open here in a couple minutes. Get your brackets filled out. March Madness starts today, so everybody's favorite time of the year. Hope it brings you good luck. So every day that the markets are open, we're streaming live on X, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live, 8:15 Central Time. Tomorrow we'll bring Brian's Fun Fact Friday, so everybody looks forward to that. Just get some time to prepare. It's going to be a good time. So anyway, hope everybody has a great day. If you need anything, let us know. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Dan.
Dave.